Pastor? How are you, sir?
Thank you for coming out here.
Inside this church in May, Texas, locals are gathering to mourn the tragic death of 25-year-old Shantae Blankenship. Somewhere within this crowd is Shantae's killer, hiding in plain sight and watching town folks pointing suspicions in all directions.
Has she had problems with anybody?
There's this guy out calling. And we used to have problems because he used to ride around with them and stuff.
Whoever it is a pretty sick person and they're still out there somewhere. I think it's your boyfriend going.
You know, she's a good-looking girl and that makes me a dirty old man. I think that's what was said.
As detectives exhaust every lead, the case eventually goes cold, leaving this small community questioning if any one of them might be the next victim. Yet, for over a year, one unusual witness sits quietly unnoticed, holding the answer detectives had been hunting for all along.
He was so devious and smart. He just didn't know that that was going to be the thing that would finally catch him.
The reactions that we're showing on this is, man, you're off the freaking charts.
And here he is, right in front of us. How did I miss that?
25 years old, beaten with a lawnmower blade until she was almost unrecognizable. Left inside a cellar behind an abandoned farmhouse that people in this town only ever called the haunted house. For over a year, her killer walked free, and for most of that year, he was standing close enough to shake the hands of the people searching for him. This is the case of Shantae Blankenship, a young woman from May, Texas, and the 2-year hunt for the man who murdered her. We're going to walk through exactly what the evidence showed, exactly how investigators nearly lost this case to a cold trail, and exactly how one emerging forensic technology cracked it open when every traditional lead had already failed. No embellishment, no speculation beyond what the record supports. Just what happened in order as it happened. Shanna was known around May as a gentle presence, someone who walked the same stretch of road nearly every evening because she loved being outside and loved being around people. She had the mentality of a 9-year-old, and that vulnerability shaped how everyone in town treated her. Neighbors looked out for her. Her mother, Michelle, worried about her walks but never stopped her because taking that away from Shantae would have taken away something she loved. She was the kind of person a small town builds itself around protecting. On the evening she disappeared, she was doing exactly what she always did, walking, alone, in a community that thought it knew every danger it needed to watch for. She vanished on her usual route and stayed missing for nearly 48 hours while church volunteers combed the area.
It's May 15th in the small town of May, Texas. Nearly 48 hours have passed since 25-year-old Shantae Blankenship mysteriously vanished after going on her usual evening walk. Since then, church volunteers have searched tirelessly for any sign of her, until this Sunday morning, around 11 a.m., when one couple stumbles upon something.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
I have no idea where I'm at. I am in the middle of nowhere. We were looking for Shantae Blankenship.
Okay.
We found her.
Okay. Okay, stay real still for me, okay? I'm going to try to ping your location.
It's actually the old haunted house is what everybody calls it.
Is she okay? Does she need any medical attention?
Is she alive? She's dead. Oh, God.
Okay, yeah, I've got everybody headed that direction, okay?
It was 2 searchers driving down an isolated stretch near an abandoned farmhouse who found her.
Right away, the Brown County Sheriff's Office dispatches 2 patrol deputies to the caller's location, an abandoned farmhouse nearly 25 miles away. Once they arrive, they find Charlie and Jackie anxiously pacing outside, ready to go into detail about the gruesome discovery they had just made inside.
We're just driving around looking for her. They did everybody met at 3 at the church to go look for her, and we were just driving around. We looked at every creek and culvert we could find.
The peel-out marks were already here?
Those over there, yeah.
I've seen those tracks, and they pulled in. They didn't go on through. They were just stopped.
These aren't y'all's?
No, this is the vehicle we're in.
Are those
over to the gate?
Are those your shoe prints?
Probably mine.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stay over here on the rocks and not walk around where there's any footprints.
don't let them leave there till I get out there, please.
10-4, they're waiting for everybody.
She was in a storm cellar, partially clothed, beaten so severely that responding deputies struggled to process what they were looking at. Beside her body lay a broken lawnmower blade, stained with blood. The medical examiner would later confirm it as the murder weapon. Blunt force trauma to the head and neck. No defensive wounds, meaning she never had the chance to fight back. Bruising on her arms consistent with being dragged.
Watch that wire.
Yeah.
So it's on your gun. There you go. You're good. All right, here, John. Hold this. I'll step up here and I'll grab the camera and hold it.
The bracelet's laying right on the other side. I'm assuming it's her.
Okay. He said there's a little bracelet right here on the other side of the gate. He said, yeah, right over there in the middle of that grass. There's one of those wristbands, those little rubber bands like this one. It looks, the way this grass is right here, like someone's been through it recently or something. Knife laying on the ground. I don't know. Looks like it's been there a little while.
Yeah, it's been there a while, but we'll go ahead and photograph it just in case.
I don't see any blood anywhere though. I haven't seen drops. I wonder if someone pulled around to the back side of this house where it wasn't as obvious.
Yeah, let's just follow the...
We'll follow the dirt tracks. The grass disturbed. She don't have any pants on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay, let me get video here. I want to say he said he pulled this metal back. We need to find out. I mean, because you can see where there's a path right through here. Man, this grass is still thick. There's not going to be any prints. This metal right here we'll need to process probably, or I would say. Here's another pink band right here.
And evidence that she had been assaulted as she was dying or in the moments after her
Waiting
death.
for everybody.
To the deputies, this discovery immediately raises questions. The farmhouse sits miles out of town, in an isolated location that many locals don't even know exists. So, while they wait for additional officers to arrive, the deputy begins pressing for answers, trying to understand how this couple ended up here in the first place.
How long did I guess y'all called immediately when y'all found her?
Oh,
yeah. Which gate did y'all jump?
I walked around the house. I didn't see nothing in there. And I went out to all the outbuildings.
Do what?
I walked around in the house. I didn't see nothing in there and went to all the outbuildings.
Yeah.
And I was coming back and that storm cellar there had a bunch of grass knocked down. So I run around and looked and there she is. She's upside down in there and she is beat. I got a daughter that age. She's naked as Jaybird. All she got on is that white shirt she was running around in Friday when I seen her. If I get my hand on them, she said, done that. I tell you that right now, Fletcher. I told them bastard. Nobody. She had the mentality of a 9-year-old.
There's an old house back there. They apparently all met up at the church earlier at North Lake, and they were just coming out driving around looking. She's in a cellar.
You serious?
Yeah. Well, said they were just out looking for places.
That old gray house.
Yeah, I think so. They said they found hair laying out on the ground. They're like, what the heck is that? So they've already picked it up. It's like, that ain't cow hair or anything. And they were wandering around and they found her in the cellar. The gate's locked, so we'll have to cut it. But there's tire tracks that pull in there and then pull straight back out.
Fresh tracks?
Yeah, like today fresh.
Indeed, these are very fresh marks, planting a terrifying thought in the deputies' minds that Shantae's killer...
Investigators did not know it yet, but every detail at that scene would later match word for word a confession that was still nearly 2 years away. The tire tracks at the property were fresh. Too fresh. Which meant whoever killed Shantae might still be nearby, watching the search unfold.
Pink band right here, John.
It's a legit homicide, it looks like.
There's blood all on that rock right there. Once all your guys get out here, I'm sure they'll want to go through this building and make sure that there's not something inside here either.
Yeah.
On the ground, halfway inside the cellar, lies Shantae's deceased and partially clothed body, beaten so severely that she is almost unrecognizable. Beside her is a broken lawnmower blade stained with blood. Its condition and placement leave investigators with little doubt that they're looking at the murder weapon. All of it, the secluded location, the sheer brutality of the attack, and the way Shantae's body is positioned leave deputies wondering just what kind of a deranged person could have done this.
That fear only deepened when detectives arrived at the church where the community had gathered to search and grieve, and realized the killer could be standing in that very room.
And this is the church, North Lake.
Because May, Texas is a deeply religious community, the search for Shantae has been organized through the local North Lake Community Church. So investigators head there, but by the time they arrive, the situation has already changed dramatically. A volunteer firefighter has just informed Shantae's family that her body has been found, putting deputies at a significant disadvantage. And as the deputy approaches the church, he's met with uneasy stares from the crowd as he scans the room for any potential suspects.
Okay. All right. I'm just looking.
Oh. Good.
I'm just making observations.
Oh, appreciate it.
The crowd.
Thank you.
You're not doing what, sir? Okay. That's fine. All right, come on. Hey, folks, could you have your attention just a minute? Folks? Folks? Hello? Ladies, gentlemen? If you believe you have information that will assist in this investigation, I ask you don't discuss it with anybody else. I don't want you to mix your notes with anybody else's notes or anybody else's observations. That's important because I want your recollections to be your own. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Pastor? How are you, sir?
You're doing okay.
Doing well, sir.
Thank you for coming out here.
You bet.
While the community may not trust the deputy yet, they do trust Pastor Ron Keener. Having spent nearly 5 decades in ministry and years helping local charities, he knows this town inside and out, and having him on their side could prove invaluable to the investigation. As the deputy continues moving through the church, he notices people beginning to leave. With no legal authority to stop them, he urges Pastor Keener to help gather Shantae's family and those closest to her. But as detectives begin speaking with the people who knew Shantae best, one person quickly draws their attention.
What followed was a methodical process of elimination that any true crime viewer will recognize as maddening in real time. Shantae's boyfriend John was pulled aside first, and his flat effect after learning she was dead raised immediate suspicion, though it revealed nothing beyond his own troubled history.
With that said, let's get back to the investigation where Shantae's boyfriend, John, is about to exhibit some behavior the detectives would find highly suspicious.
My name's John Harper. I'm an investigator with Bragg County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. I don't get in trouble anymore.
What does that mean?
You pulled me in Frankie Salazar over one time.
No, now I remember who you are. Yes, now I remember who you are. How long have you been with her?
A little over 3 years, October 17th.
Okay. How did you and her get along?
How we got along?
Yeah.
I mean, there was times, I ain't gonna lie, we'd argue, but she's not capable of handling things.
Mm-hmm.
She has mental problems. I try to, she has a habit of yelling and stuff, and I would just try, sometimes I'd just leave, and then sometimes I could just talk her out and be nice, and she'd calm down.
Mm-hmm.
But she just has, I hate to say it, she expressed herself different. Sometimes it was like a wall, but she showed me love, you know what I mean?
Despite just learning that Shantae has been found dead, John doesn't ask a single question about what happened to her that night, leaving detectives to wonder if he somehow already knows. At this stage, deputies are looking for anyone who may have had a reason to harm Shantae, and without hesitation, John would point investigators towards another man, someone who had just slipped out of the church the moment the deputy arrived.
Anything else has she had problems with anybody?
There used to be this guy, Colin.
Guy where?
Colin.
Yeah. What about Colin Smith?
Well, I mean, we used to have problems because she used to ride around with him and stuff, and he used to just do stupid stuff, and he like ride around drunk, stuff like that, and I didn't like that. And I mean, like she'd hang around and stuff, but she pretty much, me and him got into it one time because he came out to the house, and she was drunk there, all drunk. I'm off of work. I mean, I'm thinking, what the hell? And me and her stepdad were out there and straightened out, and I never heard much out. He pretty much turned his nose and let it be.
Okay.
And then I've heard off and on she goes over there. I mean, but it's just something I can't really get myself upset about. And I mean, but I'm that foolish over.
As John's interview comes to an end, deputies still aren't sure what to make of him. Although he agreed to speak with them voluntarily and remains cooperative, detectives find his behavior oddly unconcerned. For now, John points investigators towards the only possible suspect he can think of, Colin Smith, a man deputies soon learn is no longer at the church.
He pointed investigators toward Colin Smith, a man who had been intimate with Shantae and who worked in lawn care, giving him direct access to the same kind of blade used in the murder.
The next morning, just as deputies prepare to head back into town, they receive a major update from the forensic team. The initial autopsy results are in. Shantae's cause of death is determined to be blunt force trauma to the head and neck. Her injuries are consistent with the broken lawnmower blade found at the scene. She has no defensive wounds, while bruising on her arms suggests she had been dragged by the elbows. But investigators uncover something even more disturbing. Shantae's body had been violated as she was dying, or even after her death. Male DNA is recovered, giving detectives their first concrete clue about the person they're looking for. And combined with the sheer brutality of the attack, investigators begin to suspect that this was not the killer's first time, and that other victims may still be hidden somewhere.
Colin's polygraph results came back showing severe deception, results dramatic enough that even the examiner seemed startled by them.
Like any other potential witness, but Colin's behavior and his refusal to cooperate would soon shoot him to the top of the suspect list.
How you doing, sir? What's your name?
Colin.
You mind if you want to ride with me up to the SO and that? Yeah, and I'll bring you back.
I gotta do it.
Okay, you don't want to go with me?
I mean, it's ridiculous that I'm even being looked at. She's got a boyfriend or a husband, John Adams. She's like infatuated with me. She'll just walk up and down.
Did y'all have any type of physical relationship at all? Because some of the people we talked to is that y'all had a relationship at one time. No. So never.
No.
Okay. What kind of relationship did she and the boyfriend have?
He'd always pick her up and tell her to go get her home, and he treated her like a dog. And there's a lot of people that are kind of looking at him. I mean, it's...
Yeah, well, he's one of the people I'm going to have to interview. Are you working anywhere right now?
I do lawn mowing out here.
Okay.
According to Colin, he never had any kind of relationship with Shantae, but detectives aren't buying it. And when the conversation turns to his job, Colin reveals he works in lawn care, giving him access to the same type of weapon detectives believe was used to murder Shantae. But seeing how defensive Colin is becoming, detectives decide to leave, asking him to come to the station
the following day. A third man, Bobby Sosa, was tied to the case through a red and white Ford Bronco seen near Shantae the night she disappeared, and a strange odor at his property that never fully explained itself.
Drive to her house, unaware that the woman they're about to meet may hold the key to unraveling the entire case. Because no one in this house knows Shantae better than she does, or the three strange men who had recently entered her life.
Caitlin, we're just trying to get as much information on this as we can. Will you just kind of tell me about Friday? What was she talking about?
She was talking to me about a whole bunch of different stuff. One thing that really got me was she told me her and Colin got back together. Her and her boyfriend John talked about how they broke up because she didn't like him. And then said that actually Colin told her to meet him in the shed behind his house that night. Sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
And then this guy, he drove by us and Bronco. It's white and red. You know, when you see somebody you think is really creepy, you kind of get this. He looked kind of creepy, and he waved at her, and she was like, yeah, that's so-and-so. He really creeped me out.
Caitlin points to the 3 men who may have been involved in Shantae's disappearance: John, Colin, and a 3rd man she can't remember, except for one detail: a red and white Ford Bronco.
All 3 men gave DNA samples. All 3 men were run through the national database. None of them matched. And more than that, the DNA profile recovered from the scene matched no one in the system at all.
A month passes, and the DNA results finally arrive. But when the DNA profile is entered to the National DNA Database, there are no matches. No match to John, Colin, or Bobby, and no matches to any known offenders in the area. Detectives are left with a troubling possibility. Perhaps their killer wasn't a local, but someone passing through town who had already disappeared for good.
This is the point where most cold cases stay cold. No match, no new leads, a community left living beside a killer they couldn't identify, still attending the same church, still walking the same streets, still hugging the same grieving family at the same funeral. For more than a year, that's exactly what happened in May, Texas. The case sat unsolved, and the man responsible sat quietly inside the very community searching for him. The break came from an idea, not a warrant. An investigator working the case, Carile Gover, saw a segment on a forensic technique called DNA phenotyping, a process capable of generating a predicted image of a suspect's physical appearance using nothing but their genetic material. No fingerprint, no name, no prior arrest required, just DNA run through a lab translated into a face. Gover brought the idea to lead detective Scott Bird, and within hours the funding was secured and the sample was sent to Parabon Nanolabs for analysis.
More than a year into the investigation, in October 2017, another investigator who had worked on Shantae's case, Carile Gover, would make an incredible discovery. While watching a true crime show, Gover learns about an emerging technology known as DNA phenotyping, a technique that had successfully solved another cold case by generating a snapshot prediction of what a person may look like using only their DNA. The next day, Gover rushes to tell the lead detective, Scott Bird. Within hours, the $4,000 needed for the testing is secured and the DNA is submitted. And as the image slowly begins to take shape, suspects would be eliminated one by one until the true killer turns out to be someone no one ever expected.
Yeah, by the time that the Blankenship case came along, we had a couple of cases that had used the phenotyping information to help solve their cases, given the investigative capabilities that they had at that time, which were not DNA. He managed to avoid leaving any clues that got him caught. But he did leave DNA. He just didn't know that that was going to be the thing that would finally catch him.
This is Dr. Ellen Graytak, Director of Bioinformatics at Parabon Nanolabs, the company behind the snapshot technology detectives used in the hunt for Shantae's killer. Within weeks of receiving the DNA evidence, Parabon's team analyzes the sample and generates a snapshot report predicting the unknown suspect's physical appearance. And as soon as it lands on Scott Bird's desk, he immediately recognizes the man, 21-year-old Ryan Riggs. Years earlier, before entering law enforcement, Bird had taught Ryan in the 5th grade. When detectives dig deeper, they discover Ryan had been there the entire time. He was a longtime family friend, attended Shantae's funeral, rode around with John calling out her name during search parties, and even hugged her parents at the wake. Detectives now know it was all an act. A years-long act that Ryan managed to maintain perfectly.
Weeks later, an image landed on Bird's desk, and Bird recognized the face immediately because decades earlier, before he ever wore a badge, he had taught that same face in a 5th grade classroom. The suspect was 21-year-old Ryan Riggs, a longtime family friend who had spent the entire investigation standing beside the people searching for Shantae. He had ridden along on search parties, calling her name into the dark. He had attended her funeral. He had hugged her grieving mother at the wake. Every single moment of grief the community shared, he had shared it with them, performing it perfectly while knowing exactly what had happened to her and exactly where he had left her body. When officers went to arrest him, Riggs was already gone. His parents confirmed he had fled the moment the composite image became public. For a few tense hours, it looked as though the break in the case might slip away entirely. Then, the following evening, Riggs did something no one anticipated. He walked into the parking lot of his own church, found Pastor Ron Kinnear greeting congregants as he always did, and told him he wanted to confess.
As I do for every service, God, I stand in the parking lot greeting people. And there was Ryan standing there with his mother, Michelle, and he said, I'm going to turn myself in tonight. He said, I murdered her. And I said, at that point, I'm going to step out in the parking lot and call Sheriff Hill. We're going to take you to the law enforcement center. He said, yes, sir. I want to confess to them.
To detectives' surprise, less than an hour ago, Ryan had unexpectedly shown up at a Wednesday night service where he made a horrifying confession. He was responsible for murdering Shantae. Not only that, he had just walked into the sheriff's office alongside Pastor Keener, saying he wants to turn himself in. Baffled by the situation, detectives bring Ryan into the interrogation room.
Within the hour, he was in an interrogation room, describing the murder in detail that matched the crime scene exactly, details that had never once been made public.
So this happened on Friday the 13th. Tell me about that day. How'd you start that day out?
I don't remember how I started the day. It was just like an average day to me up until I did what I did. I had stopped and asked her if she needed a ride, and she got in my truck, and then out of nowhere I just put my left arm around her and began to strangle her. I went back to my truck and got a lawnmower blade out of the back of my truck, and I went back to where she was and I beat her to death with it to make sure that she was dead. I've always had this different part of me that it just wants nothing but destruction and evil. And whenever I saw her that day, it took over. So I knew what I was trying to get. It wanted to kill somebody.
Ryan's description of what he did to Shantae perfectly matches the details from the crime scene, details that had never been made public. To detectives, it leaves little doubt that he is, in fact, the killer.
If you could say something right now to Shantae, what would you say?
That I'm sorry that I did what I did, and whatever I have coming towards me, I deserve.
What do you think you deserve?
Death for sure.
Anything else? No. All right, Ron, you are officially under arrest for capital murder.
He described offering Shantae a ride, strangling her without warning, retrieving the lawnmower blade from his truck, and returning to make sure she was dead. When asked what he deserved, he answered simply that he deserved to die. Ryan Riggs pleaded guilty to capital murder and was sentenced in 2019 to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
When news of Ryan's arrest reaches Shantae's mother, Michelle, she releases an emotional statement thanking the community for its support.
Hey, everyone. I don't know if everybody knows, but we caught him. We got him tonight for a capital murder trial. God has blessed us with him. And it breaks my heart because this man went to church with her, and he's just a kid himself. I wanted everyone to know that we appreciate everything y'all have done.
In 2019, Ryan is ultimately sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But even with Ryan behind bars, the abandoned property where Shantae was found continues to haunt the town. The site became infamously known as the haunted house. People regularly jumped the fence to explore the property, reopening old wounds for Shantae's family. Eventually, in 2025, both the house and the storm shelter were demolished in an effort to finally bring peace to the community.
The farmhouse where Shantae was found became a haunting fixture in the community, drawn to by trespassers for years afterward, until it was finally demolished in 2025 in an effort to let the town move forward. What makes this case remain in the minds of investigators isn't just the brutality of the crime. It's the 2 years Ryan Riggs spent hiding inside the grief of the very people he had destroyed, protected not by a lack of evidence, but by the trust of a community that never imagined evil could wear a familiar face. Cases like this are a reminder that forensic science keeps evolving faster than the people who think they can outrun it. And if you're watching this and you carry even a fragment of what this community carried, waiting for answers, waiting for justice, know that persistence and new science together can still close the door on someone who thought they'd already gotten away with it.